Alright YouTube, so I just watched the Resident Evil trailer. Quick background, the way I found out about this trailer is kind of not my favorite way to find out about the trailer, which, okay, it's just through memes I've been seeing of, the character that looks like Fade Rowther's dad, Baron Harkonnen, and cosplaying, I read a comment as like, It from, Pennywise from It in the sewer, so that's interesting, but what I'm getting the impression from this trailer is it's kind of giving me a lot of vibes of a lot of other horror movies and sort of splewed mixed together, and came from the director of Weapons. Now, I will admit, the very first time I saw Weapons, I was not terribly impressed, but second time it got a lot better. I enjoyed it a lot more, I think, because I understood it more, which, if you're wondering why did I see Weapons twice, it's because Mr. Aiden invited me the second time, and maybe it's just Mr. Aiden's magic charm that I was able to enjoy the movie a lot more in the second time, but I definitely picked up a lot more, and I'm understood the story more, so getting that vibe here. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but the character, the guy we see, kind of, I don't know if it's the same actor as the drug addict from Weapons, which was a funny character to say the least, but yeah, don't do drugs. So I'm very speechless and terrible talking. No, what I was going to say is I'm very aware that there is the Resident Evil video game series, which, I think this movie is sort of based off of and, maybe somewhat inspired from, rather than a direct video game movie. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think I read a comment that's kind of giving you because we know a lot of video game movies aren't always great, but this seems like it's working with and sort of giving you the version of how this video game would be if it's a movie, if that makes sense. And the way I'm going to compare this is the Dark Knight trilogy, for example. Incredible movies, and don't think Resident Evil is going to come anywhere close to it. No disrespect to it, but Dark Knight trilogy is untouchable. But point is that it's more sort of a comic book inspired rather than just a direct super comic movie. It's just sort of like Batman if he exists in the real world. So I'm getting the impression this is sort of how Resident Evil would translate for a movie. So there's definitely some crossoverings, and getting the impression, thinking about it, maybe the crossovers between video games and movies is why a lot of them flop. But something that I'm happy about related to video games, slight tangent, is that Sonic 4 is coming out in IMAX, which you guys know I don't see many movies in IMAX, but this is one I may actually have to make the exception for. So really excited for Sonic 4, and really excited for this movie, Resident Evil, because it gives me very horror-like vibes. I even read a comment saying it kind of reminded the guy of Evil Dead and Silent Hill, which the first one I've seen, and I talked about it today, the Evil Dead series, really cool, but never really seen Silent Hill, but it does sound familiar reading this comment I see in front of me. But so what intrigues me about this movie is sort of, like I said, a lot of the overlap of sort of the going through the house, the blood through the cars, the character who's Fade's dad in the sewer, which is interesting. But I also saw some octopus tentacles coming out through, and yeah, overall this movie is going to be really cool, I'm sure, because I trust the director of Weapons. And there's another movie, Barbarian, which I saw was also mentioned in the trailer, but I haven't seen it. But Weapons was definitely a fascinating movie, and was definitely not afraid to do unconventional things and get its hands dirty. So I'm confident in this movie, but hopefully it's not too over the top, or if it is, it's over the top done right, because there is sort of a fine line, if you ask me. But I love horror movies, and like I said in the Evil Dead review, or Evil Dead Burn teaser I talked about, this teaser was a lot better, so because we saw more but not too much at the same time, whereas the Evil Dead Burn trailer, not a lot, but still has me hooked and interested. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned more soon. Goodbye.